Okay, this is like the third attempt at trying to get a video get called multiple times. Anyways, um, so today we're in one of the spots that I kind of found when I first moved home, LaCloche Ridge Conservation Area. I'll talk a little bit about like LaCloche and kind of where that name comes from. Um, but yeah, it's one of my favorite spots. It's kind of an oldish growth. Like lots of these trees are over 100 plus years old. But yeah, oh wait, there's the boy. Hi, Squish. Anyways, he's pretty much ready to go. So yeah, I'm gonna just kind of talk about here, and of course he has mosquitoes on him. All right, sorry about all that. Yeah, no, I'll talk about it a little bit more going forward, but the idea is that I need to kind of post more videos in order to get followers and get that kind of stuff. I've also kind of changed on the idea of like, I was thinking, oh, this is just going to be a straight up hunting YouTube channel. It's definitely not just going to be that. It's going to be lots of exploring, lots of just kind of informative little videos. So, get to learn more about this spot and what's right next to it, the Heaven's Gate trail as well. But yeah. Okay, so yeah, this is a spot. It's not very far in. Squish always loves it because it's a good place to cool off. Right up before we get up to where the blueberry patches and everything are. You're at this conservation reserve. Hi, buddy. So if you look kind of up here, there we go. Right up there is the Mount Ararat is how I pronounce it. But yeah, it's one of the spots that has one of those really, really amazing views. I don't know if we're going to go all the way up there today, but we'll see. So yeah, Squish and I just spooked up a couple deer over here. But yeah, I'll kind of show you what the views are like up here. A bunch of blueberry patches just behind me. A very floofy dog. And some absolutely amazing views. Squish. Yeah. Pretty crazy up here. Okay, so this is one of the first kind of lookouts that you get up to up here in the LaCloche Ridge. But yeah, over there's Killarney. Whitefish Falls is right over here. Rigger Bay is no, sorry, Rigger Bay is right there. Yeah, it's quite a spectacular view from up here. But yeah, kind of to get back to it though. One of the more interesting facts is this region's called the Cloche, and most people kind of say, "Oh, it's because of how the rock formations are, because they look like bells," kind of idea. But in reality, it actually stems from the bell rocks, which bell rocks are they would be right around this area. They're at the Fisher Wavy site, and the bell rocks were a form of communication used by Anishinaabes, and yeah, that's one of the things that I always enjoy correcting people on. I shouldn't say enjoy, but it's one of those interesting facts that like people always say, "Oh, it's because of the formation of the rocks, everything like that," and it's not true. It's because of the bell rocks, which were an Anishinaabe form of communication. And there's lots and lots of stories of those. I'm not going to talk about those on here. You have to actually go visit some of the local elders of Whitefish River First Nation. They're the best ones to talk to about it because they have all of the traditional stories. So if you want to learn more about that, definitely suggest you go there. As well, you can also go check out the new Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women's Memorial statue there. It's quite a sight to see. But yeah, if you want more information on that, go there. Okay? Don't just look on YouTube. And the blueberry thief has begun. He is so cute. Yeah, you always got to enjoy it out here. Big old trees, squish dog, and some really amazing views. Yeah, next spot should be chantrelles, but we'll see. Okay, so there's still not that many, but we do have a few just starting right now. Just a few chantrelles, and in future videos I'll get into those, but yeah, for the most part, I always suggest learning from a local person versus, oh my god, I got a bug right at my ear. Learning from a local person versus going out and trying to use a YouTube video to learn how to do it. But yeah, Squish is over there somewhere. So yeah, just to understand how big some of these trees are. As wide as me across. Like some of these things are absolutely huge. The ones over there are in reality a lot bigger than this one. But yeah, this old stuff is pretty awesome to see and experience, especially like knowing most of the stuff on the island is minuscule compared to a lot of the stuff. It's really interesting to look at these things from like a historical perspective and think about new videos. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, right now we're at Frood Creek. It basically funnels into, or not funnels into, it's Florence Lakes distributary. I'm probably screwing up all these words right now. Sorry, guys and girls. Um, but yeah, so this is one of the nice spots. We're gonna head up to Florence Lake, just so you can kind of see. It's a really, really awesome and amazing site up here. But as well, what's great is they're starting to provide more and more maps along these routes. This one's a little bit older, but yeah, just things like this, public land. I'm going to kind of repeat this over and over. It's important to protect these public lands because I don't know about you. I would much rather have lots more biodiversity, lots more regions for animals. Like at this point now, Squish and I have stirred up, I think, 3 or 4 deer at this point. So just little things like that. And I'll probably talk a little bit more on habitat and that kind of stuff and the importance of protecting it. But yeah, Frood Creek. Up here is the Mount Ararat, or actually maybe right over here. But either way, you get to see it. Okay, yeah. So just made it to Frood Lake, or not Frood Lake, Florence Lake. Oh my god. But yeah, Florence Lake. It's a nice little hiking spot. No cottages, no camps, no nothing on here. So yeah, here's some absolutely wonderful views. In the winter, especially when I come here, more often than not, we'll see deer, that kind of stuff, crossing. Bam. Nice little spot. Sorry about that. And then, just over right here, there's what everyone calls the lean-to. It's a nice little spot that you can actually set up for camping overnight. It's really awesome over there. My friends have set up there, went and done cookouts. Cast iron that's over there is actually mine. But yeah, I really do enjoy it here. I love it here. The views are, yeah. And of course, the boy, the Squish. Okay, so I'll probably do 1 or 2 more out on the way out here, but just another kind of little interesting tidbit is even way back in times of like Cabot, all the colonial explorers and everything, they discussed the fact that like indigenous people here hunted, and there's more than a few verifiable facts on this one, about hunting things like caribou and elk around here. However, due to market hunting and just extirpation through colonialism, the closest caribou herd is like James Bay or Slade Island up in Terrace Bay. But yeah, lots more history to kind of talk about on that stuff. But I think we'll probably do that next time up there. Okay. Okay. And yeah, just to kind of end out this video, I remember talking about like how this kind of old growth, as it were, because lots of these trees are like 100+ years old. Speaking of which, dead birch. That's pretty big and thick. Anyways, the way that we think of even Ontario, especially, there's not really any real old growth anymore whatsoever at all because of corporatization and I guess monopolization, timber barons, etc. that basically demolished the old growth forests and the different forests than what we have today. Indigenous peoples, they managed forests, animals, ecosystems very differently than how it is that we currently manage them and how it is that we will probably manage them in the future. But yeah, it was very different overall ecologically. You were looking at everything as the ecosystem as a whole. But yeah, that's one of the things that I always kind of think of is we are managing our natural resources very poorly as of right now, and that's why I think talking about public land, public land and wildlife management, land management is very important overall to our kind of future of North America. I was listening to a couple different podcasts. I've been watching a lot of videos on kind of the rewilding of Europe because of the absolute decimation of basically all big game species. And then switching over to like a herding mentality and everything and herding culture. And it's just one of those things that I'm trying to think more about long term past when I'm here, obviously. But yeah, it's little things like that that I really am kind of thinking about. But yeah, you have to imagine like these are amazing forests now, but they look totally different than they did pre-contact because of differing viewpoints and differing ideas and mentalities. There's all sorts of extinct species nowadays versus when indigenous populations first arrived in North America. There's a huge difference. I think there was, I don't want to misquote or anything like that, but there was just not nearly the same amount of actual loss of many species, as it were. So I think we're going to kind of work out more of that and figure out a little bit more information to kind of put into these videos. But yeah, it was a good walk today. Alright, guess that's it. Edit this now and put it up.